Some of the biggest advances I've made in my business were from watching other people's products. Being a customer of one of the biggest things I always tell people in my program is that when I started out, the first thing I did was I mystery shopped every other space in my area. First thing I did, because I was just like, look, first of all, I didn't have a mentor. Nobody was teaching it. So I'm just like, yo, I need to know what other people are doing right and other people are doing wrong so I can come into the marketplace and sell my stuff accordingly. I mystery shopped every other business in a 7-mile radius. How much you charge? What do you provide? How many customers? I want to know how booked you are. I'm looking at your reviews on Google so I can come in and be like, all right, cool. The most booked spaces in this area, they're charging this. They're providing that. They have this type of level of customer service. They pick up the phone. Their website is optimized like this. Their Instagram bio looks like that. And from that point on, we were able to scale our business simply by looking at other competitors. Even with my digital stuff now, I'm buying other people's products.
Absolutely.
I want to know what your onboarding looks like. I want to know what your customer service looks like. I want to know how your product is laid out. I want to know how fast it takes. I want to know if you even communicate with me after I buy your product.
Brian, did you work in corporate?
Like 6 months.
First of all, I don't want y'all to miss what he just talked about. I work with clients all the time, or I get people, students, in fact, and part of my training program is to mystery shop, right? And I don't call it mystery shop. I just tell them to shop their competitors, do market research. And people really feel like it's highly unethical to do that. I don't want to, go in there and pretend like I'm blah, 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 just to figure out what they're doing. It makes me feel a way. You're probably one of those people. I used to work in property management, leasing apartments. And one of our weekly roles was to go and shop our competitors, or maybe it was monthly, but we would have to go and shop our competitors. And what that meant, because we're talking industry language, what that meant is if I work at A property, I need to go to B property, act like I'm looking for an apartment, right? I'll take off my uniform. I'll go in there and I'll act like I'm looking for an apartment.
Act like it's just so
well, unethical. Because that's what marketers
that's the name
do.
of the game.
This is what you have to do. You go in, marketing. You act like you're acting like this is the information we're taking back to our marketing team. So we're acting like we're looking for this apartment. I am paying attention to what does your office smell like? What does the leasing office smell like? Do they have cookies? Do they have coffee? Do they have lemonade? We don't offer any of those things. That might be a deal breaker. Let's get the cookies, coffee, and lemonade. I am looking at the journey. How do I get from the leasing office to the apartment? Are they taking us on a golf cart, or are we walking all the way through the buildings? Are they avoiding the dirty breezeways, or do they have a yellow brick road path that they take us by that they know is always clean? When we walk in, are they showing us fully done models, or are we having to use our imagination here with the furniture? All those things matter, because if their presentation of their product is better, we need to do something with our presentation. That information goes back to the to the marketing team, so sales can perform at a higher level. Brian, I'm interested in what you would tell somebody who says, I get it. I get that Pepsi probably sent somebody on their marketing team, or they sent before I get there, I don't know if they do it anymore. I'm sure they do. In what's that website? Not Backpage. The other one where there's all kinds of listings.
Wait, what are you thinking about?
Craigslist.
Yeah.
Craigslist. Because Backpage was one too, but it was for something different.
What kind of listings?
Craigslist.
Okay.
You ever saw?
You know something about it?
Never.
You know something about it.
I heard about Backpage. I don't know anything about it. But Craigslist.
I'm too young.
You're too young for this. Craigslist used to be like the spot. If you needed to hustle up some money, we knew how to go through some Craigslist listings. And there are these mystery shopper positions where you could go into like restaurants and dine at these restaurants, or into stores, and people send them into hotels. And companies, you do that? Companies have, like, the Marriott has a department of internal shoppers that will send you to their Marriott properties to make sure that you're presenting correctly, or you'll be fired on the spot. So if internally you're being shopped, from your competitors you're being shopped too. I'm interested in hearing your perspective on if someone comes to you and says, I just feel like let's just talk to Dave here, because Dave feels like it's unethical to go in and shop somebody else. What would you tell him?
If I'm to be extremely transparent, and I not putting aside how most entrepreneurs would feel about this, there's a certain level of entrepreneurship where you kind of have to play the game. And I've noticed this.
Anytime you use the little play the game, I don't know.
It feels sketchy to him.
The biggest companies, Amazon, Tesla, Apple, they all have a certain level of, I don't want to say tactics, but there are things that they just kind of have to go a little bit behind the book to say like, all right, cool, we got to get the job done. For example, Amazon, what they'll look at is they'll look at all the top selling items and then they'll create their own product.
Yeah.
This is something that they do on the regular, like it's public. You know, Apple will do the same thing. They will look at other companies' products. They'll be like, all right, what's top selling? We're going to make the same thing. Google, all the top companies do this. So there's a certain level of just, it's kind of like if I won't do it, somebody else will. If I'm not selling somebody else will. Yeah. So I'd rather get the sale.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with the secret shopper because Cheesecake Factory had the same thing, but I was like internal.
Yeah.
My thing, I don't want to go,
This is external.
I'm not going to act like I'm going to, because you got to lie. You got to be like, oh yeah.
I will call up another venue and be like, yo, I need to have a baby shower. I'm 20. Like, I got to have a baby shower. How much do you charge this and the third? Meanwhile, they don't even know I run mannequin. Like,
I feel that.
You see what I'm saying? You have to do it. Somebody else
Donni
has
a burner email account. So for all y'all that be doing events, you got that little email wall up. Donni has a burner email.
I got a burner email account.
I'm stitching on everybody. Neo got a burner Zoom account.
I got a burner Zoom account.
I've seen it. I've seen Neo. I've seen it.
I can't show up as Donni Wiggins on your Zoom.
That's
I'm
a fact.
You. I want to know what's new in these streets. And it's not for me to come in and like steal from you and steal your ideas, but I need to know what my competitors.
100%. I got 30 burner Gmails.
Right.
I'm not. So I shop someone. I've shopped Neo.
Oh, I've shopped Neo too.
I've shopped Neo.
I've shopped Neo.
He's all over my burner email, right? I've probably shopped you. Like, let me see. I'm not coming in as Donni. So, and the other reason that I do it is because I want to collect like your emails and see how you're communicating. If something stands out to me, this is important. I'm not doing it to like steal your tactic on your Zoom.
I'm okay with that.
I just want to like learn what do I like? Does
you
any
do
of this
want to
resonate?
steal the tactic.
No, I don't. Or I'm able to communicate.
I mean, you can't steal it.
I'm also able to communicate at a deeper level. Oh, no. I know for a fact that he does this or she does that, but this is what we do, right? This is how we're different. You have to do that. And if you're not doing it, it's important to have I don't really have time to do it today, but I would have Brianna do it. Bri, I need you to hop on this Zoom, take good notes, record this, tell me what your feedback was. What'd you like? What you didn't like? What was the customer what was the participation feedback like? I need to know these things so that it makes me improve. There's so many people and there's so many Coca-Colas. There's so many sodas. The people, you think Coke not sending people into Pepsi to see if the formula is the same?
Facts.
To see how pricing is different? There are people who do this. There are companies that are so grimy when it gets to the top level, they will install an employee in your company just to find out what's going on.
That's a fact.
Now that's grimy.
Is it though?
I mean, it's strategy.
Is it though?
Is it grimy?
Is it though?
I don't know. I'm hiring. You want to put somebody on my team?
You know I do agree with that. I think that's cool. Now, I wouldn't go like do a tour of a apartment complex because I got to make up a whole story and identity. But
what story do you have to make up? I'm looking for an apartment.
I'm looking for an apartment.
So where you coming in from? Oh yeah, I live in Ohio.
I live in the area. Moving.
I'm moving.
As long as you gotta lie.
Well, and it's you do it different ways. So I used to get my best friend to come up there, like, girl, we got to shop these apartments, because after a while, these people, you do it every so frequently because there's a high turnover. But after a while, I will walk in offices sometimes and they'd be like, Donni, you here to shop me? Because I've been there before, right? Like they know, and they've been to shop me. So because they had shopped me, they're like, girl, you here to shop me? Let's go ahead and do this. And there was an internal language that we understood. But you would go so far as like, bringing me with you and like, yeah, so we're in town, we're just looking, for a unit or whatever the case may be. You have to play the role, and it may not be you anymore because you're goofy and you won't do it right. But you need to get somebody who will.
Are you talking about me, or are you just saying you in terms of helping the audience? No, this is really helpful. This is helpful,
good.
Right?
This is good, yeah.
All right, so
who knows their competitor? Who got a competitor that you're shopping today? First of all,
I actually went to the podcast conference as a shopper, but I bought a ticket and I was telling them, yo.
And you tried to bring me. We were going in there to take all the sauce from the podcast conference. Who in here doesn't know their competitors? You don't know your competitors? Okay, I wish you had a mic. I don't really know where I was going to go with that. I just want to know. So one person, what do you do?
Hold on. Let's get the mic. Okay, I'll translate maybe into you.
You're building an apparel brand?
It's building an apparel brand.
I know the list, but I don't know the ends of my competitors.
Okay. Brian, you're really good at this part. Like, you know what people are in your industry doing, right? You're building an apparel brand. You know...
I know a list of some of my competitors that would be considered a competitor, but I don't know like what you were just explaining in terms of like the deep dive and the information and things.
How many competitors do you have on that list?
2.
You need 100. So you need 100. I need you to subscribe to every one of their email lists.
Talking to that mic though.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You got to subscribe to every one of their email lists. You got to follow all their Instagrams, all their Twitters, find all their handles, see if they own their domain, see if they own their trademark, see if they own their IP. You also got to buy a product from them. You got to read their shipping policy.
I have a few.
You have a few, you need all of them. You got to buy their product from them. You got to contact their customer support. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You got to contact their customer support. You got to try to return something. You need to go along the entire pipeline of this customer. You need to be a customer. If you're mystery shopping Hollister, you got to be a customer of Hollister. Sign up with their emails, follow their Instagram, try to return something. Because how do you know where they're lacking if you're not a customer of them? You know what I'm saying? If I want to see somebody who's another marketer, I'm going to subscribe to your webinar, attend your webinar, try to buy the product, return the product, follow you on Instagram, DM you on Instagram, because I want to know. And the quickest way, and there are professional companies that will literally find a company that's doing really, really well and build an exact replica. There's a company in Europe that does this to all, like they'll build a replica Uber, build a replica Amazon, build a replica all these big companies by literally going into their infrastructure and replicating everything. You got to be a customer of your competitor to be better than your competitor.
Yeah, don't be buying my practice in the back, bro.
I got Brian charging back if they refuse to give him a refund, though. You didn't charge back some people who refuse.
I've never charged back.
Y'all not giving me a refund?
I've never
This was research.
But you want to know these things. You want to know, like, all right, in the face of adversity, how does this company operate? Like, are they behind their refund policy? Do they have a refund policy? Do they have a guarantee? Are they behind their guarantee? When I say 100, I mean that. It's called the Dream 100 because 2 people isn't enough of a sample size. Yeah. You need 100 people. You need small companies, big companies, large companies. If you're mystery shopping for retail, Fashion Nova, Shein, Pretty Little Thing, Hollister, American Eagle, all these different companies.
Yeah.
You need Uniglow, you know what? All these big companies, big, small, medium, the local brands that freaking Tyrone and Justin making, like, or whatever, like just random people, like it doesn't matter. Like all these big companies, big, small, medium, large, their entire sales process. You need to know. If you want to be better than them, you got to know them.
Brian in his bag today.
Yeah, in his bag.
He in his bag today.